Hey guys, Hackersploit here, back again with another video, and welcome back to the ethical hacking course. Today we're going to be talking about proxy chains. So this is actually going to be the second proxy chain tutorial. In the previous video I talked about proxy chains, what they are, how they work, and I introduced you guys to the proxychains.configuration file. So in this video I'm going to go into some really advanced stuff when it comes to proxy chains. I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm going to show you that it actually works live. So I hope you guys are ready, so let's get to it. So like any other ethical hacking videos, it all begins in the humble shell of the terminal. So open up your terminal and let's get started. So in the previous video I was using the Nano editor, and I'm gonna keep on using the Nano editor. Now let me explain why. You guys might be asking yourself, well, there's the Vim editor and there's so many others, why aren't I using any of those? Well, I'm trying to keep these tutorials as beginner friendly as possible so that almost everyone can understand them, and it's very easy for them to grasp the concept of editing a configuration file in the terminal. So let's get started. Nano, and we're going to access the proxychains.configuration file. We're going to go to the etc or etc and proxychains.configuration, and let's open that up. Now, in the previous video I explained why we need to uncomment the dynamic chain. That's basically activating the dynamic chain. Now the dynamic chain will basically allow the IP addresses to change in a very dynamic manner, and I explained that in the previous video about how it works. For strict chain, it's basically gonna go through a series of IPs, but basically it's easier to detect because those IPs will be just repeating themselves. And a random chain, this is basically one of the worst ways of proxy chain anonymization, and for very obvious reason. Each connection will be done via random proxy, and that if your proxy it doesn't work, you're basically stumped and you have to restart the process all over again. So let's go all the way down. Now I also told you to uncomment the proxy DNS requests, no leak for DNS data. This will basically will prevent leaking of DNS data. So even if you're not using a custom DNS that's not in your country, it'll actually just follow the IP's DNS to whichever country that's in. So this is very important. Make sure that's active, and you can do that by uncommenting, as I did with the dynamic chain up there. So let's go down all the way to the example section. Now in the example section I told you guys to take a look at the format of basically how a proxy chain or a proxyfier DNS works. Now this is the proxyfier DNS. This is SOCKS5. That's what we're going to be using because it's the safest and it's the fastest really. And this is the address of the proxy. Nothing really to say there. That's basically just the address. You then have the port. You guys know what ports are. And right here, a lot of people have been asking me what this is. Well, basically this is the username and password examples. So if you actually buy a proxy or a proxyfier or a proxy chain, in most cases they'll usually give you a username and password, and this is where you get to enter them. So we're going to use Tor and the proxy chains in interrelation together. So they're actually going to work together. So let me explain how we're going to do that. So in the proxy list section here, this is actually where we configure the proxies. As you can see, the defaults have been set to Tor, but it's being used in the SOCKS4, but we don't want that. But instead of removing that, we're just going to use this one. So go to the line just below SOCKS4, and we're going to add SOCKS5, and you want to hit the tab button on your keyboard, and that's basically going to follow the format of the command above it. So it's going to follow the format just above, which is a very good format, 127.0.0.1 and 9050. all right, now why are we using 127.0.01? Firstly, that's the basic Tor proxy configuration. That's where the IP is, and this is basically your IP, and this is how you can actually test by running this to test if the proxy chains are working. So SOCKS5 we've actually configured, and to be honest, we're actually done here. Now I'm going to show you the proxy chains working with an example, or actually I'm just going to run it live. So we're going to save this file, and to save the file you want to hit Control O, and it's going to ask you to write the changes, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's written. And to exit the Nano editor, hit Control X. All right, and we're going to clear the console, and finally we can begin checking. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check if the Tor service is running. Most likely it's not running. So let's check. Tor service, actually it is running. Well, hold on. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this terminal, and I'm going to open another one, and I'm going to stop it. Actually, hold on. It's service Tor stop. All right, and I've stopped it. If yours is not open, don't worry. Just skip this step, and we're going to start it again. Service Tor start. All right, and I'm going to hit service Tor start, and it's going to start the Tor service. Now we can actually begin with the proxy chains. As I explained, we're going to be using the Tor proxies with we're basically going to using the Tor proxies with the proxy chains configuration file, at least for this video. The way to test this is we're going to type proxy chains. We're going to use a browser. I'm going to use Firefox. That's basically, whoops, my typing today is pretty bad. Firefox. You can use Iceweasel, and basically Iceweasel is just Firefox. So we're going to use Firefox anyway. And we're going to enter a test website to test whether the proxies are working. I'm going to use www.duckduckgo.com, and the reason I'm using this is not anything particular. I just want to also recommend this search engine to you guys. I know you guys are very fond of Google, but DuckDuckGo is one of the sites or search engines that does not keep your IP addresses and track you. So it's, in terms of anonymity, and when you're performing like whois scans on targets, I would recommend DuckDuckGo. It just keeps you safer. But anyway, we're using proxy chains, so all you have to do is hit enter, and it's going to start proxy chains, and it's going to open Firefox, and it's going to open www.duckduckgo.com. Obviously it's going to take a while because it's running through the proxy chains, and just give it its time, and it should start. It should open up DuckDuckGo, and there you have it. It's opened up DuckDuckGo. But you might be asking, how do I know I'm anonymous, or how do I know I'm safe? Well, firstly, let's look at the terminal. So as you can see, you're going to see that it's basically accepted these IPs, and you don't have to worry about what it outputs here. So to test it, I'm going to check for DNS leaks. Now, how do we check for DNS leaks? We're basically just going to do a DuckDuckGo search, check for DNS leaks, all right, and it's going to hopefully return some results. That was very quick, and we're going to test the DNS leak test, all right. So let's open that up. All right, so as you can see, it said my address is 176.58.198 from London, United Kingdom. I can tell you for a fact that I'm not in London, in United Kingdom. I'm really far from here. So as you can see, it's actually working. And if we start the standard test to test whether any DNS information was leaked regarding my real location, we'll see that it's probably going to give us a UK DNS. Or it's actually given us a German DNS. So that's actually even better. It just makes you more anonymous. Now, you guys might also be asking, how do we know this is working and my IP will be changing? Well, to do that, I'm just going to close this browser, and I'm going to say service Tor stop, or I could say service Tor restart to save the time. All right. And once that's done, I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to say, I'm going to run the previous command, the proxychains firefox duckduckgo.com, just to test that and let it start up again. And there you are, it should start up again. Depending on which proxy it's using, it'll either be faster or slower. If it doesn't work, don't worry, just give it a few seconds and it should work, because it'll go through the series of proxy chains as you can see here. And some will be denied and some will work. Anyway, it's returned DuckDuckGo, so we can actually perform the DNS search again. So check for DNS leaks. All right, again, very fast. Let's check for DNS leaks, and we should hopefully have a different IP. And there you are, guys. It's actually giving us an IP from Prague, the Czech Republic. Sorry if I butchered that. Let's check what DNS it's giving us. Let's see what DNS it's giving us. Very nice. It's running the test. A bit slow, but it's worth it, whether you're performing scans or SQL injection. And there we are, Germany. So this is actually pretty cool, and I've actually shown you guys that it really does work. If you use this method, you're going to be anonymous, and that's all I can really say. Knock yourselves out. Go ahead and do anything you want. This is really useful for people who are complaining about scanning the scanme.nmap.org. Now you can actually just change your IP and keep on using their domain for educational purposes, obviously. Anyway, guys, you can see that it's working. I'm anonymous right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, or I hope this video helped you. If it did, leave a like. Please share it, because a lot of other people need this information, and if they can get it, that'll be just great. If you have any questions, the comment section, you can contact me on my Kik or on any of my social media, on my social networks. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Peace.